today I have a treat. I have a special guest for the Real Knowledge podcast with Tiaras, me, the host. We got Carlos, which is all about title, and he knows everything there has to be done on title on any property. He is very well knowledgeable about anything real estate, but the best thing is that he's also an attorney, so he's got a lot of knowledge and a lot of stuff to help us out as somebody that's wanting to go in and purchase a home, a lot of advice and stuff. So Carlos, introduce yourself. I just want you to give a quick intro on what it is that you do and what Title Law Group does for all the closings you do and how many people you help.
Well, first of all, thank you for the intro. I liked it. So my name is Carlos Ferreyros. I'm a real estate attorney. I've been practicing for over 15 years now, primarily in real estate at this point. So I've kind of seen it all. I do a lot of my niche is creative financing. Investor driven, wholesales, assignments, and things like that. I'm well versed in the loan world as well because I represent a bunch of lenders and I know how it works and things like that. So I do a lot of compliance issues as well. And then I have the law side, which is, evictions, partitions, quiet title, escrow disputes, things like that, right? Pretty much anything regarding real estate, and I've either seen it, done it, or some sort of that. Okay, but yeah, man. So
awesome.
I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, I really like to show you off in what you could do because you're so versed at so many things, and you could help so many people. Especially if do you help people if they do go into like a foreclosure? What happens in that case, and give me a little insights on how you actually could help somebody out there.
Right. So I did foreclosures when I first started out. I got out in 2009 when obviously the foreclosure boom. I became an attorney when I was 2009 when the foreclosure boom was happening. So that's where I started out, and then I was there doing foreclosure defense for about like 3 or 4 years, and I jumped over to the bank side, and I worked on their side to see how it works. I ended up rising to be the managing attorney for South Florida, which was it was actually a multi-state law firm, so it was pretty big. Right now, like if most foreclosures that are coming down, it's because of insurance and because of the insurance prices are going up. People can pay their principal and interest, but they can't pay their insurance payment, and there's a lot of it's escrowed. So when it's escrowed, the payment goes up. So it seems like your mortgage is going up, but really it's just your insurance. So I have a lot of people right now that are getting screwed with the insurance prices going as high as they're going. And the bank's obviously requiring insurance on the property, and they can't make those payments, so they're in foreclosure.
So, do you see any anything that you see that could help them out long term? So, for instance, we have a new president coming in. Do you see anything that he might bring to the table to help out that insurance premium, that it'll go back to normal, because it's really killing people as we see?
It is, and also the governor's trying to do something about it too. I think he gave too much. There was a new law that passed by that took away attorney's fees, automatic attorney's fees, statutory attorney's fees, when you sue someone for first property rights. So let's say you settled the case for $10,000. But you litigated it for 3 years. Now you have a $300,000 bill. So yeah, you settled the case for $10,000. Now the insurance company is required to pay you those $300,000. The attorneys the $300,000.
Oh, really? Wow.
That law got taken away, right? And the reason it got taken away is because there was a lot of frivolous lawsuits filed, right? But at the same time, a lot of insurance companies didn't pay when they're supposed to. Naturally, right? Those are insurance companies.
Right.
But they got the insurance companies got the lobbyists to get the Congress, the Florida legislator, to agree that no more statutory attorney's fees. So now, with the idea that they would deny less claims, because now we don't have to worry about attorney's fees, right? So now they can allocate some of the money for the denials into approvals. Hasn't been the case. So it's in fact it's gotten worse, I think, from everybody that I'm hearing. So realistically, there is going to be some changes coming down the line. When, we don't know. But if you want to do some things to help yourself out, right? If the insurance is too high, check your roof, check your windows, call your insurance agent, see what credits you can possibly get. Maybe you have some things that you're not getting a credit for in your house that you should be getting a credit for. Every penny helps. That's the immediate thing that you can do right now. Let's check to see what credits are available to you through your insurance provider and how to get them.
And when you say credits, you're meaning like if you do have a brand new roof,
impact windows, solar,
right.
Alarm system, things like that, that the insurance companies give additional credits for. So those are your main ones, but every insurance company is different. So, for all intents and purposes, get out there, call your agents and see how you can lower them. And obviously, ask for credits and specifically, not just, hey, how can I lower it? Because they're going to tell you, there is no way.
Do you think these hurricanes that have passed by, you have all these like major hurricanes pass through Florida, is that something that really has affected the insurance going up, or is it just this new law that came in, or is it inflation, or can you even figure that out?
It's a combination of things, right? It's the hurricanes, the back-to-back hurricanes definitely aren't helping, especially on the West Coast. They're getting hammered. And those claims get paid out automatically, right? Those are FEMA protected and whatnot. I think also home pricing, and then the litigation was a big aspect as well. So I think that it has to change. People are literally losing their houses over insurance, right? The governor and the legislator are aware of it from what I was reading from the last session that they had. Because that's how you find out about these things. You gotta be a big nerd and check out what the state legislator does. But that's really how you stay informed. And they are raising issues. It's an ongoing issue with them. And there will be some change. What will it be? I guess we'll have to wait and find out. If you want some change, also call your congressman. Call your U.S. rep, call your state senator.
Letters? Do we still write letters?
Either letters or emails, because they have emails available to them. I'll tell you one thing. I wrote a letter to my mayor where I live because the permitting department was a complete disaster. Really? Yeah. And I try not to sound like an asshole, so that way they don't deny all my stuff. Right. But I said hey, as a member of the community, this shit sucks. It's terrible. It's awful. There's no system like that should work like this and and I went off and he actually wrote me back.
Really?
And he asked me specifically how it happened, and they've actually made some changes because of that.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a firm believer. You gotta go to you gotta play nice. You can't go in there like a Karen or something like that and make jokes and things. And being a jerk about things. I'm a firm believer. You kill them kill them with kindness.
Right.
And that's what I do. Every time I go to the permit office, I don't tell my contractor it goes me because it goes a little faster. They already know me by name. They already know everything, But at first it wasn't like that. But yeah. So that's
a good advice. Really good advice. I wanted to ask you on, let's say, we're sticking with the insurance. Now you get taxes. What happens with somebody? Some people have the misconception that, hey, I have my primary residence and I automatically have a homestead exemption, but you have to apply for that, right? How can you help?
This hurts
people
me.
that don't know what they're doing? This
hurts me so much because I can't tell you how many people aren't applying for the homestead exemption in time, and then it doesn't apply for that year, okay? And then now they have to wait the whole next year because the enrollment period is over. Listen, if you're living in a house you live in and you call home, right? Call the property appraiser if you have any doubts. Call this office, 305-669-1480. Call the office and just tell them, hey, ask to speak to me or anybody in their law firm, and we can definitely help you out doing that. I can't tell you how many calls I get. People missing that, and then I'm not even talking about a $200,000-$300,000 house. I'm talking about $1 million property on the water. I think this was $8 million. You can imagine what the property taxes was, right on that, right? Yeah. I got it in right on time. and I actually saved them about like $37,000.
Wow.
You know,
See, a lot of that, to me, you do a closing, and that's something that they might not cover because you're doing so much within that closing that you're saying, man, I just want my keys.
yeah. But you know the county is actually fairly good.
Yeah.
The counties, for the most part, at least Broward County for me, that's where I live. I get letters every year, 3 or 4 or 5 of them, saying,
really?
hey, just checking in, making your homestead's good, everything's fine. I'm pretty sure all the counties have a general, especially the big counties, that will say something else. So don't throw away your mail. You see something from the property appraiser's office, check it out, open it up, and see what it is, because most of the time, I opened mine one time and said there was a sale on my property, and I was like, what the? I immediately went to the city. Right, and they said it was a clerical error internally. It wasn't a sale, so I was like, but it freaked out,
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, imagine if it wasn't an error. Imagine someone committed fraud and stuff like that. Open that mail, But you should be getting you are getting notices in the mail for sure. You are getting notices in the mail regarding your homestead, regarding taxes, property taxes. So don't ignore those. That isn't junk mail. You wanna stay on top of those things. You want to be a good homeowner. You want to get the most bang for your buck and all the exemptions that you can get.
So let's get back into you said that you help people out with their homes in certain situations. Like, you have any examples of how you've helped somebody in a situation and maybe saved their house or saved, or got a money back?
Yeah, a lot of the stuff that I do is I unfortunately, my forte is saving deals when they're dying. What do I mean by that? Like, let's say there's a hard money deal on the table, and everything's flowing, and right before the day of closing, they find a way to kill this deal, right? Whatever it may be. My where I come in is I look at the deal, I dissect everything, I look at it, and I try to find creative ways around it, right? We're dealing one right now that the guy had 2 payments over 60 days late. That's a huge red flag in the financial industry. Their 130 day is bad enough, but 260 days, they consider you you might as well have been in foreclosure, basically. But when I presented this to the borrower, right, I told him, hey, he's like, hey, so what do I do? I have 30K in escrow, like that the deal's supposed to close tomorrow. I said, well, listen, there's 2 ways that we can do this, right? I can get you to someone that's another loan, so it'd be more expensive and not the terms you're asking for, or you can come down with more money and chop down the risk for the bank.
Right.
And he says, okay, I can drop this much down. And sure enough, I went to the lender. I talked to the lender. I'm like, hey, I understand these are your automatic denials, but what if we lower the LTV? He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, what if he comes down with more money to close? Instead of being at 75%, it'd be at 55%, a whole 20% extra down or whatever, And they said they went back, underwriter approved it, boom, we closed.
Yeah, well, that's good to know. I mean, and obviously, we in-house, we have people that can help them as well. Ernie would be somebody that could help them out, and we've had him on the show before, and he's very knowledgeable and very helpful, and he does a lot to help those borrowers.
Yeah, we as far as saving a house, right now we have what's called an angel investor program. Okay. Basically, what we do is if there's equity built into the house, right? Let's say the house is worth 100, and let's say the house she owes 100, they're in foreclosure, right, for 100, but the house is worth 350, right? But she doesn't want to go to the house. Yeah, she could sell it, right, and get that money and save the foreclosure. Or what this angel investor does, he comes in, he buys the property off them and gives them about 6 months to a year to go buy the property back or sell it.
Nice.
And he's buying it. Let's say the foreclosure's at 100, right? And the property's worth 350. He's gonna be around 150. His payoff is gonna be about 150 to 160, 175, give or take, depending on some of the numbers. And that's the number that she can buy it back to him from, not the 350, the fair market value. Or when she sells it, if it sells for $1 million, all he wants is his 150 back. she can sell it for $1 million. He's not.
So they're doing that because she has equity.
And she has equity.
And they can basically.
They can make some money, they can make some money, but also get them on a foreclosure and give them the time, those 6 months to a year, which, by the way, they don't pay any rent or anything like that. The investor takes that into account when he takes out the thing. So he's using, he's like, hey, rent would be this much, I'm going to use it, so therefore that's why you got to pay me $150 back. It's not just an arbitrary number he makes up. Right. He takes things into account.
But that's great. I mean, it's how do you help somebody when they're in a bind?
A no-win situation.
Yeah, and that's really good. I mean, if somebody didn't pay their insurance, or the taxes went up so much that they can't afford it now.
Right.
But they do have, like you said, 200,000 or 300 in equity.
Right.
They still could save.
Right. Hey, listen, that deal isn't for everybody because there also isn't an equity for everything. But those are just little things like that that we're creatively finding ways to help people either keep their homes, make some money, close deals. It's just different variety of things. Like realistically, in real estate, you have to be creative. Right? There's not one way to skin a cat. There's multiple ways to get a file through the finish line, And obviously, getting there the most fastest and efficient with the most LTV is the goal. But we all know it doesn't work that way. We all know that we have to make pivots, we have to make concessions, we have to figure out ways around things. So it's all
the real world. It makes you, there's things that happen, circumstances. And you got to figure it out, and that's where you have to problem solve all your situations. And I agree. I agree with that. When we're talking about,
I'm gonna do a little live. Oh, sorry, I'm gonna do a little live.
Let's do a little live. All right, recording. So so the other thing I wanted to ask you is, you're obviously not only an attorney, but you're also a businessman, and you do have Title Law Group that you do all this title, and you help people with their closings. And
I have other aspects, right? I guess what you're trying to say is I'm also an investor, right? I'm also a hard money lender, right? So the good thing, I guess I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but the good thing about me is that I see the deal from different points of view, right? I see it from a title side, I see it from a legal side, I see it from an investor side, I see it from a borrower side, from a lender. I see it from all angles, which is why I think the title and acts, at least anything that I put together has been fairly successful. Right. I know what I'm seeing. I know from an investor. I know if I need to get the investor to sign off on the LOI that's being provided, I got to see it from his point of view. And me being an investor that does fix and flips, that does buy and hold, DSCR, HELOCs, and all that stuff, personally, I know for the most part what you need to think to get that finished, right? Same thing from a lender. I already know, when I get a file, the lender's not going to like this, let me highlight this, and let me find a way before I even present that file to the lender. I either resolve the issue or I have like a workaround that they're gonna like, which I know how to do that again by representing lenders and seeing things come on my table, be like, this is an automatic X, and then in my head, unless they do this.
Yeah, that's how you kind of figured that out when you saw that person that had 60-day late. Obviously, we know that is the worst.
That's the worst you could do. Besides foreclosure, if you're 60 days late on anything, you might as well kill that loan whatsoever right there and then. But I also know that if you do a loan at 50% LTV, it usually means no recourse. What I mean by no recourse means that there's no personal guarantee because the LTV is so low compared to the property value that there really is no risk. They could possibly, at this point, they could probably light the house on fire and they'll still be okay with the land value. So I already know that, right? Knowing that, that's why I said, hey, what if we throw more money? You lower, it's all about risk management, right? So I know that if you lower the risk, there are more exceptions going to be made because they're coming in with more money, more skin in the game and things like that.
Right, yeah, and they have that equity that they can rely on.
Exactly.
Because they're not dumb either. They're going to lend you the money, but that's a good way of showing somebody, hey, it's not just this
dead.
one. You can figure it out.
It's not looking great. It's not looking great.
Right.
I'm not gonna make any promises, but hey, I'm trying to give you solutions here.
Right.
And like I said, those are just things that you learn along the way, and from seeing it from different sides, from the investment, title, and all that stuff. I already, like, for example, when I get title, and I already know, this is gonna be an issue. My team already knows how to tackle those issues.
Right.
So it's all about just experience, man. It's just all about going through it and being in not just a regular traditional retail title company.
Right.
I mean, law firm that deals with title, right? And allowing me to deal with creative deals all the time, man. I just
That's what you like. You like to help people.
I like to help people, and I like to put deals together and make them come to the end.
Right.
So that's.
Well,
And I've been able to do it. I've been, built a business around that model. So
yeah, you guys have been, kicking ass, and taking names, like what they say.
yeah,
So you guys have, grown from a little hole in the wall to
we started
4,000 square foot.
we had a
office,
WeWork. We had a WeWork office.
Yeah.
That we would go to, and I would have to schlep from Miramar all the way to Coral Gables, and yeah, we started from there. Now we have a badass little office here.
Yeah. You have good, really good.
Should put your logo here.
Yeah, we could Photoshop that in there. No, you can't really see it that well
okay.
on there, but with Ernie, I did it on the other conference room, and you could see it, but it was kind of far away, so it kind of like took away from it. But just making sure here that I'm recording. So, but one of the last things I want to cover. I don't want to be make this interview that long, but you do have so much knowledge and so much to say that it's intriguing to hear you and want to know what you know. And the next thing that I want to ask you is, as a business owner, but also you're a father, business owner, all attorney, all this stuff. How do you manage that, and what advice could you give somebody that may be like this, like with drowning, and they're like, oh my God, I can't get out of this, look how much I have going on. You have 10 times more things going on.
Honestly, I'm gonna give a shout out here to my wife.
That's
swear to God, she handles all the back end. I wasn't gonna say bullshit, but I'm talking about my kids. She deals with all the kids and stuff and things like that, which really, and we have a good understanding of, like, hey, I eat what I kill, so hours I gotta put in, work I gotta put in. It's good to disconnect every once in a while, but if I'm relatively young. I'm 40. For anybody that calls me old, I hate you. But I'm relatively young. I'm still able to do work as long as I do and hard as I can, and I'm never going to stop until I feel that I can't. Obviously you play hard. You work hard to play hard, type of thing. You go on nice trips and things like that. But if you don't have a significant other, right, and you have kids, obviously that's a lot tougher. But again, it all comes down to that mentality of finding ways to get it done. The way that I try to get deals done or work around things done, I find ways to get life done. Essentially,
right.
It's just a mindset.
So your main advice, if correct me if I'm wrong, is make sure you pick your spouse.
Yeah.
All right. And make sure you pick a good one.
Right. You got
that can make or break you.
Or maybe it doesn't even have to be a spouse. Maybe a friend, maybe a group of friends or something like that. You are who you hang out with at the same. Also, if I right now, everybody that I'm close to and stuff like that, it's either have their own business or kids and things like that. You are who you hang out with, right? So, but at the same time, people can offer support from that group. Right. Yeah. Besides my wife, I do have, family members, sisters and stuff like that. Like whenever I need to travel for work or whatever, hey, I'm leaving the kid with you so the cousins can be together and things like that.
Good. That's awesome.
You got to rely on people. As far as, for me, it sucks that you say you got to rely on people, right? But I guess what I'm saying is I rely on people. I rely on my team to handle all the stuff. I would find a way, but it'd be very hard if I had to do this by myself.
No, well, that's good. Well, so as we've learned, so much about you, and how hard you work. and how hard you've worked to get to this position. I want to, leave you with this. This guy is a hustler, but not only he hustles for himself, but he hustles for his customers. So if you have any doubt, come talk to Carlos. He could help you out. And all his description of everything he does, I'm gonna put it down below in the description. All his contact information. And he is an open book. You could call the office. He'll answer the phone. He has no shame on working and and helping people out. So I just want to leave you with that Carlos is here to help you.
I appreciate it, guys. You can find me, or you can call the office at 305-669-1480. You can find me on social media at ferreyroslaw.com. At Ferreyros Law or at Title Law Group. Okay, and also my website's under ferreyroslaw.com. All right, so guys, like I said, open door policy. You guys, everybody will come down to the office, make an appointment, just sit down and see what real estate needs or just legal advice regarding businesses or real estate. I'm your guy,
And like I said before, he's offering services that are paid for. That he's basically telling you, come in, I'll help you.
Right, exactly.
That's the difference between dealing with an attorney that, I'm a big shot, or somebody that is going to treat you like family. So I'll leave you with that. To the next video.
Thank you,
thank you, brother. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.